Canelo Alvarez just dropped a bombshell that has fans divided. He claims he was only 50% healthy when he fought Dmitry Bivol in 2022. According to Canelo, he was dealing with serious injuries to his hand and knee during training camp, which left him unable to spar or run. He now says that's the reason he wasn't himself in the ring that night. The Mexican superstar believes that if he were fully fit, things would have turned out very differently. He's even talking about a possible rematch in 2026, saying he wants to show the world that he's the better fighter. But the timing of this revelation has raised eyebrows, with many questioning why it took him 3 years to say all this. Fans, however, aren't exactly buying into the injury excuse. To most observers, it looked like Bivol was simply too big, too smart, and too well-conditioned for Canelo. From the early rounds, Bivol's stamina and technical skills made it clear that he was in control. Canelo, on the other hand, looked winded after just 3 rounds and struggled to keep up with Bivol's pace. It wasn't just a bad night, it was a masterclass from Bivol. The judges may have given Canelo some close rounds, but anyone watching knew the truth. Bivol dominated from start to finish, and no amount of post-fight storytelling can erase that. What's even more frustrating to fans is that Canelo waited so long to bring up these injuries. If he truly felt that he lost because he wasn't 100%, why didn't he demand a rematch? Right after the fight, he had all of 2023 and 2024 to make it happen. Instead, he's now teasing a rematch in 2026? That feels more like damage control than ambition. Some critics are even suggesting that Canelo is waiting for Bivol to age, hoping to catch him at a weaker moment 2 years from now. Others say it's fear, that after being clearly outclassed, Canelo didn't want to risk another embarrassing defeat too soon. Adding more fuel to the fire is Canelo's current fight schedule. He's set to face William Skull on May 3rd, and is rumored to be fighting Terence Crawford on September 13th. If he loses either of those fights, the hype for a Bivol rematch could evaporate completely. Fans might just see it as another attempt to stretch his career and collect paychecks, rather than a true quest for redemption. And if that's the case, even the most loyal Canelo supporters may start to lose interest in watching him try to climb back up to 175 pounds. Now that Saudi Arabia is reportedly ready to throw money at a potential rematch, Canelo suddenly seems ready to take on Bivol again. But that raises another question. Is this really about proving himself, or is it about cashing in? If Canelo is serious about silencing the critics and avenging his loss, he'll need to bring more than just excuses to the ring, because Bivol hasn't gone anywhere. He's still fast, still strong, and still the same guy who handed Canelo one of the most humbling defeats of his career. And next time, fans will be watching even more closely to see if Canelo has truly learned, or if he's just rewriting the narrative to protect his pride. Canelo's delayed desire for a rematch also raises concerns about his current priorities as a fighter. Back in the day, he was known for taking on all comers, regardless of risk. But now, with selective matchmaking and lengthy gaps between big-name fights, fans are questioning whether his fire is still burning. The talk of rematching Bivol in 2026 feels more like strategic career planning than the hunger for redemption. If he was genuinely eager to prove himself, why not face Bivol when the loss was still fresh, when the sting of defeat could have fueled his comeback? Waiting until 2026 almost feels like an attempt to repackage an old story rather than write a new one. Meanwhile, Dmitry Bivol has stayed consistent, fighting top-level opponents and maintaining his undefeated record. He's not chasing headlines or throwing shade. He's letting his skills speak in the ring. That's what makes Canelo's comments even harder to swallow for many fans. Bivol didn't just beat Canelo, he outclassed him. And rather than acknowledge that, Canelo is now reshaping the narrative to make it seem like the fight was closer than it really was. But fans remember the dominance. They remember Canelo missing punches, getting outworked, and looking frustrated round after round. Injuries or not, it was a schooling. Canelo's attempts to reignite interest in a rematch could also be tied to financial motivations. With the Saudi boxing scene heating up and throwing astronomical money at mega fights, a rematch with Bivol in the Middle East would be a guaranteed blockbuster payday. But fans aren't stupid. They know when a fight is being made for legacy, and when it's being made for the bank. If Canelo truly wants redemption, the performance will have to speak louder than the purse. Another flat or tired-looking outing will only cement the belief that his prime is long gone. There's also the matter of legacy. Canelo has done it all. Multiple division titles, huge PPV events, and wins over some of the sport's best. But the Bivol loss is a smudge that won't fade with time or explanation. Legends don't avoid the smoke, they chase it down. If Canelo waits too long and gets Bivol at a weaker point, the victory, if it comes, will always carry an asterisk. True legacy isn't just about winning, it's about timing, bravery, and taking risks when they matter most. That's why this talk of 2026 feels like a missed opportunity already. At the end of the day, Canelo's fans want to believe in him. They've followed him through wars, watched him grow, and celebrated his greatness. But fans also crave honesty and heart, not post-fight edits to the past. If Canelo really wants to silence doubters, he'll take that rematch sooner rather than later, without the cloud of excuses. He'll step back into the ring with the same fire that once made him one of boxing's most feared and respected warriors. Otherwise, the whispers of decline, fear, and strategy will only grow louder, and that, more than any loss, could be the real blow to his legacy. Canelo's sudden urge to rewrite the Bivol chapter of his career smells more like damage control than true redemption. After years of silence and calculated matchmaking, this "I was injured" storyline feels like a weak plot twist in a fight that fans already closed the book on. If Canelo truly had the heart to avenge that loss, he had 3 golden years to prove it, but he didn't. Now, with Saudi money on the table, he's suddenly ready to climb back into the fire. It's not redemption, it's reinvention. And fans aren't buying the fairy tale. Let's be real. If Canelo waits until 2026 to face Bivol again, it won't be about legacy. It'll be about convenience, ego, and a fat paycheck. The truth is, Bivol dominated him once, and will likely do it again unless Canelo brings more than excuses and nostalgia to the ring. If he wants respect, he needs to fight like the fearless champion he once was, not the carefully managed icon he's becoming. Because no amount of money or media spin can cover up the bruises of a one-sided beatdown.